Look, tell me, Elliot. I'm going to pull out my computer right now and just. What day of the week was the American Revolution? What day of the week was July 4th, 1776?
Revolutionary War started on a Wednesday in 1775, exactly on April 19th.
Okay, what about the Declaration of Independence, July 4th, 1776?
That was a Thursday.
Yes, that was a Thursday. I wish people could see my screen because I'm looking up this answer right now. Elliot, what day of the week is my birthday on this year?
Tuesday. You were born on a Saturday in 1979.
Tuesday, April 28th. I love it. See, this is what I'm saying is that is a superpower, all right? And the ability to do that
Yeah.
could carry you without maybe even needing college, at least to get started in the field. I could see you taking stats for a baseball team for like Moneyball type stuff. Have you read that book?
No, I got to read it at some point.
You should read Moneyball. That's one that you would enjoy because it's about, every decision is made through analytics, and therefore he's able to get players for far cheaper than their value may be because they're serving a specific niche, and he's done all the math to like make it all work as a team in a certain way. So that's very interesting. I was hoping actually to start with that because I wanted to give people some reference for when we talk about superpower, what your superpower is with math, because it's pretty incredible. How many miles have you skied this season?
2,112 miles.
How many laps?
That is 1,200. I'll pull it up. It is 1,200. Oh, no, 1,369, which is.
And that's on two different mountains, right? Because you do both Killington and Stratton.
Yeah, 1,369 is 37 squared. Actually,
Really?
I have 37. Yep. Actually, I have 37 squared plus 1. So 1,300. So
well, you're not done skiing, so now give me some stats for the 24. What was your biggest year, your most vertical feet in a year?
Last year was 123,000 vertical feet.
Now, what is the total of all your years?
My total of all the years is 7 million vertical feet, 6.95 million vertical feet, 9,171 miles, 6,332 runs.
That's just Stratton 24?
No, that's just all of it.
Oh, that's all the data you've collected. I was wondering what your total. Do you know what your total is on the 24?
Last year it was 123 mile. 134 miles because remember it was 67 average per day. The year before was 119 miles with 91 on the first day, and then the year prior was 105, and then my first year was 66.
So what's that total?
66 plus 105 is 171, plus 119 is 290, plus 134 is about 424 miles.
424 miles in just a couple of nights, in 4 nights, basically. Yes, well, let's give people an idea of who you are. You identify that even in your profile on Instagram that you have autism. Do you know is it level 2 autism, level 1?
I have no idea.
You're not sure of the exact diagnosis, but you do know that it's a diagnosis that you carry.
I was diagnosed at the age of 2. It was in August of 2009.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how has that impacted your ability to navigate being a student?
It has put me through a lot of different situations as someone. I can go back and remember my high school years. The first year, they put in place a lot of things that I just didn't need. The big problem, small problem thing, telling me what was a big problem, what was a small problem. The social groups that I just didn't need to have in that first year. I went to a couple of those, and those were just way beyond my level. Like the feeling, like the zones of like what you're feeling, the red zone, the blue zone, the green zone, the yellow zone, etc.
You were beyond that, you're saying. They were below you is basically what you're saying.
Yeah,
you were advanced beyond that.
Yes, they were pushing that onto me. My first year of high school, I'd say the first 15% of high school was just getting my footing, trying to figure out what was right for me and what I needed to, what I needed for accommodations. Yeah.
So how did you what did you land on? What were the accommodations that worked for you to help you get through high school?
Having the pair there, but not, overbearing, like having, some support, but not too much.
Mm-hmm.
Like they let me take some control and they leaned back when I needed it. Like
what was the main thing that the pair would do for you when you were struggling? What was some of the things that you needed to help you get through?
Like in class, yeah.
Would they take you out of class? Is that what they would do? They would help you just go take a break?
Yeah, sometimes if I needed that, but I do remember I do this is it's this is I'm trying to remember, but I do remember them telling me like whenever I would interrupt or something, like especially when a topic got really interesting in mine, they would tell
Yeah,
me
when you
like
got heated about something, if it was like politics or something that you really cared about.
yeah, geography. I remember
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I remember back in ninth grade, Mr. Castrino referred to the UK as England, and that would always
You were like, no, there's more to
no,
it.
there's more to it than just
Yeah,
England.
yeah,
There's Wales and Northern
yeah. So
Ireland,
you had a hard
etc.
time just not saying the thing that was on your mind.
Yeah, because I'm not the quiet one.
No, you're not.
No,
Yeah,
no, I'm not.
which
I'm
is
not the
interesting,
quiet one.
because autism would carry with it the stereotype that you would struggle in social scenarios. But you, I think, were a very social person. You were involved in so many different things. I mean, maybe part of it was the amazing high school that you went to, but I felt like you found a way to be so involved with the MC and assembly and the stats. And how did you feel? Did you feel included in the student body?
Oh, 100%. Like they wanted me there,
Yeah,
and then I was able to publish that, like, especially my senior year, I was able to push that on Instagram. That's how such a huge following right now, over 1,000 followers on Instagram right now, 1,039 to be exact. That probably because of my reportings and stuff, just doing
yeah.
things. Yeah. And I really felt included in that student body for sure. Everyone really liked me in a way.
What did the success program offer for you?
It offered me a way to see what BBA was like, what the structure was like. We had like during the last couple of days, I remember we had the flex block, which was we were supposed to go to Equinox and do the hike, but we did the flex block instead, and that would teach us like, oh, what flex block was. But going back even further, there was like, ooh, we did our summer reading. Ooh, there was these like team building activities. There was we had cooking in the kitchen. We had to do quote
That
unquote
was all in the
chores.
camp. Did you? But you participated. Like you would come to the classroom, like on a regular
Yeah.
basis. You'd come down and hang out. And what did success on a bigger picture mean to you?
I was just starting with what actually happened. Like I was just telling the beginning of the story,
Yes,
and I'm
it's a
just trying
long
to go
story.
through.
It's 4 years of high school.
Yeah,
Go
and
ahead, continue, please.
and then in high school, starting high school, we were able to get this jump start before everyone else. Like we were able to like see what it was like to be in high school and what was there. And then as we got into high school, we were able to see what the campus was like, what the expectations were of the teachers. We got to meet the teachers before everyone else. And then as we got into high school, Jason and Billy really reinforced the check-ins on us and go to these events. Like there was one time there was a hike to Equinox, another time there was these monthly success events that we went to in order to build, community in our program. And we would get points, which would be earned for that trip to Mexico, which we will touch on a little bit later.
Yes. What I mean, like you used to come down to our space. Why was that space some place that you felt comfortable? What was it that allowed you to feel comfortable within that environment?
I would say because, it was kind of secluded away from where, the main campus, and people didn't really know about it. And I knew Jason and Billy very well. I knew the people there. And then, of course, was Chandler later on and
Yeah.
Rachel. I remember Rachel
Yeah.
Senecal, too, was amazing.
Yeah.
Just, the people down there were great. And I also knew a lot of the people that, ran it. So I was felt very
You,
comfortable with.
yeah. That was a place where you can just come and get away from the hustle and bustle and get a break.
The school system wasn't designed for kids with disability. It was designed for the factory workers going back to the
Yes.
17 and 1800s for sure. They didn't have the accommodations back then, and I don't even know if they really do now, but they kind of do.
You're
And
totally correct that schools are designed to make factory workers. That's the current model of education, 100%.
yeah, and that's probably why the kids with autism are getting left behind, even though one of the presidents back in 2002 or something signed the No Child Left Behind. Those kids are totally getting left behind, and
Yes.
those kids are not getting the education that
No
need.
Child
But
Left Behind was the result of No Child Left Behind was standardized testing.
Oh,
that was the boom for standardized testing, was no child was going to be left behind because we were going to just test them all the time and we would know who was falling behind. What they didn't come up with was a way to help those kids once they've identified them as falling behind. But they knew
no.
they were falling behind.
Yeah, and some kids with autism, certainly, like myself, I don't do well with testing. I've never done well with testing. I'd always rush through the testing. I've always wanted to be the first one to be done. And that's the way with some autistic kids, is they don't do well with testing.
So what's the difference between just being told for an autistic kid to try harder
To be
as
trying
opposed to
hard.
them like, or does every kid need to be shown how or taught how, or can you just say try harder and that's enough?
I would say that for autistic kids, they need some of them for some things. If they're good at it, they can do it. But if they need a little bit more reinforcement, then I would say that they need to be shown how to do it. Sometimes kids can do complex things, like figure out, like what day of the week they're born on. But some kids don't even know how to, and the same kid might not know how to do a basic thing. I think it's just because there's an imbalance in their brain. It's not because they're choosing not to. It's just sometimes that their brain just can't do it. In that their brain just, it's just too much of that one thing. They're too good at that one thing, and they're not good enough at the other thing that needs to be done.
Yeah, so they need to be given support in those other areas in order, but yet it's a growth mindset. Those things can be developed over time. There just needs to be a consistency and a caring to be able to get them there. So if you were giving advice to parents who had kids who were autistic and they were watching their kids struggle and they were worried about their kids, your parents did a good job of supporting you. Your parents really, and your sister as
Yeah.
well. They did a good job of really looking out for you and not limiting you, not saying, like you said, with going to success camp. Like, no, he's going to do the camp that everybody else is doing. You know what I mean? Your parents were super advocates for you in so many ways. So if you were talking to a parent who didn't know how to support their neurodivergent teen, what would be your best advice for that parent?
Well, just get them involved. Like, if they don't like it, they're going to find something that they want to do. And, you got to go hard in some areas with them, but don't go too hard. But, if we're talking about high school, try and get them involved as much as they can. I didn't really like it at first, but it worked out. It almost didn't work out the way I wanted it to, but luckily it did in the end. And don't let outside influencers decide what you want to do. Like with Dan Flanagan, he's just a person in that case. He's just a person. He's not going to be he's not going to define you. He's not going to. Don't let anyone limit you, is what I would say.
Don't let anyone limit you as such, or don't let anyone limit your kid. As the parent, talking to the parent, don't let anyone limit your kid, and understand that neurodivergent kids are just as capable of great success, and it's going to just be dependent on finding that thing. For you, it was numbers and stats, but every kid's got that thing. Find it and let them fly with it.
I would say, yeah, they're just, it. I mean, high school would have been so different without success, without Unified, without Ultimate Frisbee, without soccer. I wouldn't have been able to really dive into the history of the high school sports playoffs. I did actually a project in my junior year. I did a little mini project for myself, going through articles in the news to find the Unified playoff scores from back all the way to 2016 is when it really started, with CBU taking that first championship home in 2016.
2016 was the beginning of unified sports in Vermont.
Yes. How it is right now.
Was BBA involved from the beginning?
No, BBA got involved in 2019, had a temporary pause because of COVID. Scrimmages came back in 21 without the playoffs, but then in 2022, when I started, is when everything kind of came back. Actually, some teams like Leland and Gray, Montpelier, BFA St. Albans started before COVID and never returned after COVID, which is kind of sad. It would have been great
playing. A lot of things for a lot of people. That was tough times for a lot of people.
Yeah.
All right, Elliot. I really appreciate you taking the time to come and hang out. Thank you for being a part of my live and just having a chance to let other parents hear what the experience of a neurodivergent kid is, leaving high school and going off to college. And if you ever want to talk about next steps, I'm always here to chat with you. I'd always be a support for you. And I'm super proud of everything you're doing. Keep it up.
Thank you.